During World of Warcraft Vanilla, things between factions were far from being balanced. The Alliance had so many more quests to do that literally they could level their characters to max level in half the time that the Horde could. The Horde knew about this unbalance, but there was nothing we could do about it. These days, there are players who believe that Blizzard is biased in favor of the Horde. Let's take a look at what makes this seem to be a viable possibility. At Blizzcon, for example, it's been said that the Horde and Alliance have totally different experiences. It's even been said that the Horde is the favored faction of Blizzard Entertainment. But let's take a look for ourselves and decide. Now, Gerald Welch, one of my subscribers, mentioned an incident in which the person that Blizzard had hired to represent the Horde started calling Alliance homophobic names and telling them to go die. Now, obviously, this was a horrible thing to happen at BlizzCon or anywhere else, and should have never happened. But it should have been dealt with in a swift way, a swift reaction. But what reaction would you have asked from Blizzard? Remembering that regardless if you play Horde or Alliance, we're all humans. Now, in previous BlizzCon years, an Alliance player was assaulted for wearing their faction gear. And so far, there are players who wonder why this has never happened to a Horde player. Let's take a look at the Battlegrounds, for example. Now, depending upon which server you choose, you'll see a very sizable difference between Horde and Alliance wins. And for many years, I played on Alexstrasza, and the Horde would win Warsong and Arathi Basin on a regular basis. But usually the Alliance would win Alterac Valley. 90% of the time at least. Now I know some who play on other servers and they'll tell you that the Alliance win 90% of all Battlegrounds on their server. Many would argue bias in Battlegrounds, but some would argue that Battlegrounds are not decided until the final blow. Much like a raid outcome, players seem to think that Battlegrounds are an open game to both sides, and they should be. Now, I've known entire Horde guilds who would do nothing but PvP 7 days a week. And I've known specific players who would PvP for 18 to 20 hours or more a day, 7 days a week, even without a guild. Now, while I did play PvP in Vanilla, honestly, I've not PvP'd very much since Burning Crusades came out. So, my question would have to be, is it even possible to be biased in a battleground? Or is it the luck of the draw? Recently, an example was shared by Gerald Welch, in which he said, if Blizzard all of a sudden made each race of the Horde a different colored rock, with stick arms and legs, would they choose to go Horde? What if all the racials of the Horde disappeared? Of course, this is an exaggeration, he says, but it demonstrates my point. Now, do you feel that the creative energy Blizzard has put into the Horde and Alliance are equal or one-sided? Let me know in the comments section below. While it is true that outside of Blizzard headquarters, a statue of the Horde is proudly displayed, I've never been inside of Blizzard Entertainment building, but I've been told that the Horde and Alliance both are equally represented throughout the building. And I'd love to know if any of you have ever been to Blizzard Entertainment and can confirm this to be true or false. Now, as many of you will recall, a few years back we had the Azeroth Chopper contest, and the Horde and Alliance alike voted, and in the end, the Horde won. The end result meant that the Horde's chopper was made and given to the Horde players who logged in between a specific set of dates. And if the Alliance wanted Bear Chopper, it would cost them 100,000 gold. Now, many Alliance players who have been posting ever since have posted on the forums and will tell you very quickly that this contest was not fairly ran, and that Blizzard was biased in favor of the Horde from the very beginning. But what do you think? As for myself, I voted and I was anxious to see who won. But to be honest with you, I would have thought that the Alliance was going to win. In the end, it comes down to one question. Do you feel that Blizzard Entertainment is biased? If so, who do you feel that they are biased in favor of? The Horde or the Alliance? And why? Now, having played World of Warcraft for the last 14 years, I've seen many examples of what could be considered biased on both sides. And the one thing that comes to mind is the question, why would players think that Blizzard is biased in favor of the Horde? Let's take a look at some numbers. 41% of players play on PvP servers, while 49% are on PvP, and only 10% play on roleplay servers. 41% of all players are Horde, with 50.6% playing Alliance. The other small margin is unknown at this point, I guess, according to the statistics that I've found. With regards to gender, 39.3% are female, and the remaining 60.7% are male. Now, this chart will show you here the percentage of players playing each race. And as you can see, it's pretty evenly spread out with regards to all of the races except the Blood Elves and the humans. Now, the Blood Elves and the humans have a larger following, I guess, of 16.2 each. And finally, this chart here shows which class has played the most. So be sure, if you're looking to be balanced, take a look at all this. But most importantly, though, when you're looking at the Horde and the Alliance ratio, I believe you'll see why many of the Alliance players feel that they're on the low end of things with Blizzard. We'll take a look at 5 servers favoring each faction. Illidan, which is a PvP server, has 49,000 Alliance, while having 821,000 Horde. Area 52, a PvE server, has 54,000 Alliance and 739,000 Horde. Thrall, and also a PvE server, having 87,000 Alliance and 583,000 Horde. Azralon, PvP server, having 45,000 Alliance and 516,000 Horde. And finally, Ragnaros, a PvP server, having 186,000 Alliance and 386,000 Horde. Now, on the flip side, the Storm Rage PvE server has 914,000 Alliance, 46,000 Horde. Dalaran, another PvE server, has 719,000 Alliance and 489,000 Horde. Proudmoore, another PvE server, having 639,000 Alliance and only 107,000 Horde. And then we have Frostmourne, a PvP server with 544,000 Alliance, 187,000 Horde. Finally, Darkspear PvP server having 521,000 Alliance and 149,000 Horde. Now, while many may wonder why these numbers mean anything at all, it's obvious depending upon what server you play. One faction or the other will gain more control. Also, depending upon which class or race or server type you play. It all makes a difference, and it's up to you, the player, to decide where you'll play and what you'll play as. For example, if you pick to play as a demon hunter on Illidan, you're going to see a larger favor of the Horde at 821,000 players, and any other class over your demon hunter. Demon hunters only have 3.9% of the player base. Now, is it possible that there may be some bias? Yes, but it's also possible that what some players view as being biased could be based on the choice made personally by each player. Now, be sure to check out the link in the description to find the server more balanced to your liking. In the end, what do you think? Let me know in the comment section below, and remember to subscribe to the channel. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, but if you didn't enjoy it, be sure to go ahead and click on that other button instead. Have a great day, and I'll see you in Azeroth soon.